and get into civil society matters. This is a partnership that is also helping at a broad level. So today we're focusing on bioenergy. Our guests are David Bino, the GEF Small Grants Program for Barbados. He is the national coordinator for that program. And we also have joining us Erle Rahamn-Noronhna, a grantee partner with CPRI. I hope I got that name right, but good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, about that.
Good. Now, Mr. Bino, I let you lead on this conversation because, we're looking at one of the pillars of the energy revolution.
That's right. This morning, we take a special look at the nexus between food security and energy security, both very relevant to small island developing states. And it's really a pleasure to have with us a partner from the Caribbean Permaculture Research Institute. Our relationship and partnership goes almost a decade back when I was providing some mentorship to some McGill University students at the Bel Air's Research Institute. And it attracted international attention, and it was featured in Canada. And a Canadian called me and said, "Well, look, we'd like to set up a permaculture institute in Barbados because we think it's very relevant to this area." And we proceeded. They contacted me. They came to Barbados. I facilitated their technical assistance, found an exact location that would be most suitable for their needs. And so the Caribbean Permaculture Research Institute was started. I want to take this opportunity as well to give kudos to Lorraine Sorello, also to the current directors, Ian McNeil, who would have been very instrumental in moving the CPRI forward, and persons like Lady Carmichael. They're the locomotive behind this institute, and they've been doing some excellent work.
Okay, so Erle, can you talk to us a bit more about this, the Permaculture Research Institute, and what you do there and how it helps to bridge that gap between food security and energy security?
Right, so CPRI has recently moved to Walker's Reserve. So over there, we run workshops on how to really create sustainable sites and self-sufficient sites. So really what we're trying to teach people about is how to grow their own food, how to create their own energy, how to recycle their waste, and also how to take care of biodiversity and wildlife around them. Because all of these things are interlinked in a way, so that a big part of CPRI is really creating self-sufficient communities, which in a time like this is something that's very critical and stands out as a need that's out there.
How has the GEF Small Grants Program assisted you? You can hold that thought, think about that. David, you wanted to interject there.
Yeah, I was just saying that we did prepare. Fortunately, we had a junior professional officer funded by the Japanese government. And while Nanako was here, she did a very good photo story of the Caribbean Permaculture Research Institute. And we'd like to share that with the viewing audience to give some additional context to what we're discussing. Perfect. So that gives you a sense of the Caribbean Permaculture Research Institute, but we are fortunate to have Erle here who can go even further and share what they're doing.
Erle?
Great. Yes. So part of what we're doing with the OP6 grant, which is the grant that we've got from the small from Jeff, is that we're putting in biodigesters. And the model of the biodigesters that we're using is on a household scale, so that one of the concerns that we've had is when you buy bottled gas, it's quite costly. But by taking household waste, we turn that household waste into biogas by using a biogas digester. And the models that we're testing right now are Israeli models that we think are affordable to the Bajan public. So that if we can test these models and get get them working and get the data from them, then we hope that we can eventually roll them out to the public so that every household, if they want, can be generating their own biogas to cook all their food with, and that will help reduce um, a lot of expense that goes into buying cooking gas. And one of the byproducts from the biogas digester is actually a fertilizer. It's an organic fertilizer that comes out of the digester that you can then apply to your plants so that you can actually grow your own food with that
Nice.
fertilizer and then take all of that. And after you've processed your food, the waste goes back into the biodigester again to produce more gas.
I think it's
Nice.
wonderful.
And this really shows the link that we're speaking about, because when you speak about energy and food security, you have to realize that there's a link, there's a marriage between the two. In fact, any system, any food system needs energy in order to work efficiently and effectively. Energy, very simply defined, is the ability to do work. And so when you have that system integrated and fueled by energy, it can be more sustainable. In addition, any developed country needs to have access to energy and a distribution system for
Yes.
energy. And that's why that you see there's this big separation between those countries that are developing and those are developed, and a lot of it surrounds energy. So there's no surprise where why the United Nations determined and governments around the world determined that we should have access to sustainable energy for all, and that's integrated into SDG 7. And when you bring it down to the national level now, you realize that the import bill for energy in Barbados is around 700 to 800 million per year. This represents about 10% of our GDP. That's a huge chunk. And therefore, if we're supposed to move forward, then energy has to be a key component. But not forgetting when you bring it even down to the community level. Just last week, we had a fire in Barbados by someone who was cooking on a coal pot, and there were issues around that. And therefore, if you have clean access to safe energy in a format where you can easily use it, like biogas, then you're bringing more people
Hmm.
out of poverty. And I think this is the exact type of links that we need to make in development. And this particular initiative really epitomizes that.
Yeah, listen, David, I feel like we were ahead of the time sharing this information on TV 8 years ago through Green Living. I remember
We
you're
had to do
introducing me to the Horde Farm and the biogas digester that's on that property there. So we have lots
yeah.
of pockets of great work happening in Barbados and across the region. And I think this is really good stuff. What Mr. Erle has been able to do through that GES Small Grants Program.
Yeah, they're doing some amazing work. And it didn't just start there. As I said, 7 years ago, they received their first grant from the Just Small Grants Program, which served to establish the Caribbean Permaculture Research Institute. It was first established in Graham Hall on 5 acres of land, and we rehabilitated the entire building that was there lying idle and trained over 300 persons. If Earl gives us an update on that, I'm sure they're reaching close to 1,000 persons being trained. And then those persons were not
Mhm.
only from Barbados, but they were regional persons and international persons who then went on and trained other persons in their respective countries. So the work is really reaching out. But if you look at it with the scope of the problems that we're facing in Barbados, and Corey outlined them very well this morning, we really need to reach into the communities and make a difference. And permaculture provides an excellent opportunity for that, because it's not only about permanent agriculture, but it's also about permanent culture and integrating society into development and into agriculture.
Well, David and
This
Earl,
is
I've got to thank you
definitely,
right here.
yeah.
Yeah, we're out of time for this morning's conversation, but maybe we can chat a bit more next week and help people to understand how this transformation of agriculture and energy will really benefit us in the long run. But again, thank you, gentlemen, for sharing with us this morning.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.